Well, good morning, and here I am at the orchard on the last Monday of May, Bank Holiday Monday. It has just rained heavily over the last couple of days, which is great. We've been away for 2 weeks, well, away for a week and working frantically for a month before with various family and professional business. So that's one reason there hasn't been any videos from the orchard for a while. The big story is the killer frost of April the 26th. It was a hard air frost and it has almost completely destroyed the prospects of the 2017 crop.
See, tent making caterpillars.
What a disgusting mess. Yeah, we haven't been doing any spraying this year. We haven't done any spraying for a couple of years now. I mean, according to green doctrine, this is a deviation from the main feature of the video. According to the green doctrines, if you don't spray feed the soil and soil will feed the plant, etc., then you will establish a balance of pests and predators and parasites, and you'll be able to get something like an acceptable crop.
This isn't out of balance. There's a few.
I mean, yeah, there's not an awful lot of these. We have a lot of birds in the orchard.
Spray for that level.
We have a lot of birds in the orchard. In fact, since we've not been spraying, we've developed, a lot of this is quite healthy. I mean, there's not much scab around, is there? Which is great.
The rosy leaf
rosy apple. But sorry, I've gone off the subject a little bit. I don't want to make this too long a video. This is Spartan, and normally with Spartan you have to do an incredible amount of fruit thinning because it sets so heavy. Here we are, there's a foot of branch and just 2 apples on it. Here's a yard of branch without an apple. Again, I'm having to scan through the tree to find the occasional single fruitlet which has survived the frost. So Spartan, terribly minimal crop. This is red pippin, previously known as Fiesta. Again, there's just the very occasional apple there. We've walked all the way through the orchard. The plums, a tiny crop of plums. Pears, only Concord, which is, as I've said before, our most reliable pear. Concord has a very light crop. The rest of the pears, almost none. One of the Perry pears, Winnell's Longdon, has a few on the tallest branches. I remember the morning of the crop very clearly, and it's an interesting one of those juxtapositions you get occasionally, because I was going to London that day for a conference I was teaching at. There we are, there's a very, very few green gages, barely enough for a mouthful or two. But yeah, Wednesday the 23rd, because I was up at 5 o'clock that morning and walking to the station to get a train to London, because I was teaching at a conference. Over the last few years, I've been doing a lot more skin cancer diagnostics education. Anyone interested in this can look up my blog, dermoscopy.wordpress.com, where I blog about skin cancer diagnosis, which I wouldn't say was an obsession, but it's something which takes up a great deal of my time, in a way that the orchard used to do, but doesn't so much anymore. Things change, people get older, all kinds of stuff happens. And I saw the frost. I saw what a hard frost it was, late April, and I thought, oh dear, this will be terrible for the wine growers in England, and it was. Our vines were nearly killed, or certainly the new shoots were killed. I thought the plants would die, they didn't, but certainly no grapes this year. And the plums pretty much wiped out, the pears totally wiped out, and the apples really awful. Again, Lord Lambourne having to scout around us to find an occasional an occasional fruit where there should be loads. You find an occasional fruit, and it's been attacked by an insect pest. Apple sawfly is done for that. So I've just contacted my friend Jeremy, who will sadly have to be looking elsewhere for his apples this year, because I don't think we're going to get enough fruit off the whole orchard for 1 barrel of cider, if that. We've walked all the way round, and even hardy varieties like Winter King, there's nothing. These are Sunset, and these are an incredibly fruitful variety. I mean, generally one actually has a fruit spur there with nothing on it. Generally one has to thin these very hard, and I often recommend Sunset if you're only going to plant 1 apple tree in your garden, because Sunset is self-fertile. It always delivers a great profusion of blossom and very heavy crops that you've got to thin, or they'll be between the size of marbles and the size of golf balls. If you want to get them to the size of a tangerine, you've got to thin them. That won't be necessary this year. These trees, which should ordinarily carry 300 or 400 fruits, have got 6 or 8 fruits per tree. I can't see a single fruit on this tree. The last time we had a frost event like this was 1997. I remember it quite clearly. We founded the orchard in 1992, started planting in the winter of 92-93, and our trees were coming on in our first orchard. We were hoping for a modest crop that year, but then this killer frost happened and all the fruitlets turned black and fell off. And that's happened again this year, which is a bit of a bummer, really. This is Concord pear. Normally these need to be thinned quite hard. That won't be an issue this year. There's a tiny number of fruits. One small consolation, apart from the fact we won't have to put in all the work to do thinning and picking and that, is that when you get a frost event like this, you know, once in a generation, it's a killer frost, you get a lot of growth. Okay, there's no fruit to be nourished, so you get a lot of shoots coming up. So this will be very good for sending out cyanwood, and I know I didn't do that this year. I only sent to 2 or 3 people, but next year I earnestly hope to do so. We'll see. I mean, it didn't last year because I was overcome with work and with illness. Thankfully both of those issues are under control now, which is great. So I'd like to send some cyanwood out next year. But anyway, so this happened last 20 years ago. 20 years from now, who can tell where any else will be. But the real issue is that when you get an early spring, the apples don't mind how cold it gets. You can be 20 centigrade below freezing. The apples don't mind if it happens in deep winter, but if you get an early spring, the tender shoots come out, fruitlets appear, and you then get a harsh air frost. Particularly, you get 2 kinds of frost. You get an air frost and a ground frost. Don't ask me to explain the difference, but this was an air frost, and I saw it as I went out at 5 o'clock to get the London train on the morning of the 26th of April, and it was a hard killer frost, and it has done its worst. Okay, well, that's the way it goes, and no point whimpering about it. Thankfully, I've got about 300 litres of cider from previous years, so we'll have to make some inroads into that.